IEC Clarifies issue on unaccounted votes. The Electoral Commission of South Africa IEC has moved swiftly to clarify the issues of unaccounted for votes following allegations of vote rigging by the controversies party and other political parties. On the weekend, the MK indicated that it had evidence of more than 9 million votes unaccounted for in the declaration of the election results. On Monday, South Africans on social media reacted with a suspicion after the Commission updated its dashboard with added regional votes, resulting in the ANC moving from 6 million votes to 12 million votes, and other parties' votes being adjusted without any explanation. However, it turned out to be the inclusion of the third original ballot after the IEC regional and national numbers. In a statement issued on Monday night following confusion and a public outcry, the IEC said this adjustment was to reflect the total number of votes from the two National Assembly ballots and final seat allocation. The Electoral Commission notes the conversation and some confusion with the updates of the elections result dashboard last week to reflect the total numbers of votes from the two National Assembly ballots and final seats allocation out of 400 seats for the 2024 national and provincial elections. The Electoral Act prescribes that for the calculation of compensatory seats, both national compensatory N ballot and the regional R ballots are taken into account, hence the demotion of N and R on the results dashboard, the IEC said. The IEC said this was done to ensure that the seat allocation of compensatory seats took into account the regional strength of all political parties in order to meet the proportional representation and demanded by the Constitution. Speaking on Newsroom Africa, elections expert Dr. Sitembe Lembete echoed the commission but added that this should have been done much earlier to avoid unnecessary confusion. I think that it is unfortunate that we did not get a statement from the IEC sooner than we got it yesterday. I think that they should have explained before even making the changes. They should have explained that there were changes that were going to be made and why they were being made, she said. Mbete added that this was the first time that the IEC was receiving so much scrutiny over this process. I think for the IEC, this is the first time that their processes are facing this amount of scrutiny from the general public. Some of us have been scrutinizing the IEC processes for nearly 15 years now. In the past, the outcomes of the elections have been taken for granted because we were in an environment where one party was very dominant, she said. Meanwhile, the MKP has turned to the Electoral Court seeking an order to declare the results invalid due to purported irregularities. The party believes the 2024 general elections were not free and fair, and the results are therefore invalid. It also wants an order from the court directing the president to call for new elections to be held. On Sunday, leader of the MKP, Jacob Zuma, indicated during a media briefing in Sandton that the party had instructed its legal team to take the necessary steps inside and outside South Africa to ensure that justice was served. I was to tell you what our legal person was telling me. I want to tell you what our legal person was telling me. The judges here who made judgments not based on the facts are likely to tell you that this is all wrong. We are going to the international courts so that this country does not have South Africa's judges doing so. Judges who get angry and sentence you because they hate you. We are going to the judges who look at things and look at issues. We are going there to the judges that look at things and issues. For the record, the MK party is of the strong view that the 2024 elections were rigged and that the results announced by the IEC are not the true reflection of the will of the people, he said. IEC clarifies debate around seat allocation. The Electoral Commission of South Africa, IEC, has moved to clear the confusion over the updates from the election results dashboard last week. In a statement issued at the weekend, the IEC said in the May 29th elections, registered voters received 2 ballots of the National Assembly elections. It was 1 national ballot and 1 regional ballot, while the 3rd ballot paper was for provincial elections. Just over 16 million registered voters cast their vote across the 9 regional and 1 national ballot. The Electoral Act prescribes that for the calculation of compensatory seats, both national compensatory ballots and regional ballots are taken into account. Hence the demotion on N and R on the results dashboard, the IEC said. It added that this is done to ensure the allocation of compensatory seats taken into account the regional strength of the political parties, thus meeting the proportional representation demanded by the Constitution. The IEC has come under immense scrutiny after the May 29 polls, with the Umkhonto-we-Sizwe MK party wanting the results of the elections scrapped and President Cyril Ramaphosa to announce a new date for another election. The party has also filed new court documents asking Electoral Court to have the elections set aside. The MK party, led by former President Jacob Zuma, believes that the elections were not free and fair. MK party set to turn to World Court. A protracted legal battle is brewing between the Umkhonto-we-Sizwe party MKP and the Electoral Commission of SAIEC after MKP leader Jacob Zuma alleged that 9 million votes were unaccounted for. Irreversible President Zuma made these claims at a media briefing on Sunday in Sandton, where he vowed to challenge the outcome of the May 29th watershed elections all the way to the International Court in The Hague. This after the MKP's bid to have the May 29th elections declared invalid, citing a litany of irregularities, failed at the Constitutional Court. We presented concrete evidence to the IEC showing widespread irregularities in the voting process and system, and it has all fallen on deaf ears, said Zuma in a statement read out by party spokesperson Ndlela. We have also tried all peaceful means to address our grievances, but all in vain, Zuma added. We have even approached the highest court in the land, but it rejected our pleas without even giving us a hearing. They are relying on technicalities while democracy itself is being destroyed. For the record, Umkhonto-we-Sizwe is of the strong views that the 2024 elections were rigged and that the results announced by the IEC are not a true reflection of the will of the people, the octogenarian said. Engaged, Zuma, 82, called on MKP supporters to take to the streets to show their disgruntlement over the 2024 election results. The MKP ranked in more than 4.5 million in national and regional votes, leading to 58 seats in the National Assembly, which has 400 seats. Zuma said MKP's 58 party representatives in the National Assembly will now attend the second sitting of the House after boycotting the first one on Friday, crying foul over the rigged elections. Arthur Zwane, Secretary General of the MKP, said the hotbeds of the alleged rigging were in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng and Mpumalanga, all the party's strongholds. We have evidence that suggests that the unaccounted for votes were in our strongholds in KZN, Gauteng and Mpumalanga. We view this as a deliberate ploy to block our MKP from governing in any provinces, said Zwane. He said his party had watertight evidence that the 7th national general elections were allegedly rigged. We will fight until the bitter end because we can't allow the will of the people who voted for the MK party to be subverted in broad daylight by institutions that claim to represent our democracy. We have watertight evidence, said Zwane. In KZN, the MKP scored the most votes at 45.4%, which translated into 37 seats, only 4 seats short of getting the outright majority in provincial legislature with 80 seats. Despite being the majority party in KZN, the MKP failed to make the cut in the provincial government, which is co-governed by the IFP, ANC, DA, and the NFP coalition. The IFP strongman Tamin Tuli was elected Premier of KZN with 41 votes. He will officially be sworn in on Tuesday, today in Pietermaritzburg. He was pitted against Deputy Prime Minister of the Zulu monarch, Inkosi Batisiwe Chiliza, who got 38 seats. At the media briefing, Zuma was joined by aggrieved politicians, including Ace Magashule, the leader of the African Congress for Transformation, ACT. Magashule, the former Secretary General of the ANC, the Colleen Makubele, the leader of the South African Rainbow Alliance, SARA, threw their weight behind the MKP's legal bid. Magashule told the Daily News, "We also have evidence that the elections were rigged to favor some political parties and disadvantage others, including us, ACT, and the MK party." The MKP will join the Progressive Caucus of the EFF, the UDM, the ATM, the UAT, the Al Jama'ah, and the PSC, Zuma announced. The group has close to 30% of the seats combined in the National Assembly. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa was elected for a second term by the Government of National Unity GNU bloc last Friday, which includes, among others, the DA and the IFP. This is after the ANC slid from the 57% it granted in the 2019 general elections to 40.5% in the recent elections. It first dipped below the outright majority of 50 plus 1% since democracy in 1994. The IEC have repeatedly refuted any allegations of rigging and irregularities, although the elections were marred by glitches. IEC spokesperson Kate Babella could not be reached for comment on Monday. Independent political analyst Obanizi Kalala said it would be difficult currently to provide whether the allegations are true or false because the courts have ruled against the MK party. But at this stage, we need peace as a country. The only way to prove these allegations was to do a recount, which the IEC was against. And that's it from Egypt's Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.